All right, college basketball. This is what we've been waiting for. We've been so excited for this. We've got a lot to talk about, so we're going to be very brief on most of these games. There will only be a couple games that we're really going to focus on. We got to be super brief on these so we can get through because we have not talked about it since December 23rd, and there have been a lot of games since then. So let's start with December 23rd, shall we? We're going to mention all of the top 25 games. I don't know if you wanna look through and see if there are any really good not top 25 games, but I'll just have the top 25 games up. We're gonna mention every single game that I see on the list. Some we'll talk about a little bit more, some we won't talk about. I have a specific Michigan game that happened a couple hours ago. That I'd really like to talk about, but we'll get to that at the end of the episode. All right, starting at December 23rd, number 5 Villanova beating Marquette 85-68. I don't think that's really a shocker to anyone. Moving on, number 8 Tennessee beating South Carolina upstate 80-60. Why do I even mention that game? Anyway, number 11.
Hey, you said you're going to do top 25 games. You put yourself in that situation.
Number 11 Rutgers falling to number 23 Ohio State. This was interesting because Rutgers was putting a clinic on Ohio State, and then their big man fouled out. And right after that, they just completely fell apart, and Ohio State dominated them. So big win for Ohio State, knocking off Rutgers at home.
Yeah, that was a big change, I think, in Rutgers' season. We'll get on to what's been going on later.
They lost a couple games in a row now, including another one to Ohio State. I know that much.
Oh, big news for NFL. I didn't notice that. It says that Zach Moss is out for the rest of the postseason, so Devonta Freeman just got added to their practice squad.
He's just everywhere now, isn't he? That's a hit for the Bills, though.
Yeah, definitely. Anyways, moving on.
Might have to change my pick. All right, the NFL episode is coming out after this episode. I changed. I'm saying the Ravens win. Yeah, I'm saying the Ravens win. That's enough. That's enough for me to change. Number 13 Creighton sneaking out with a win against number 22 Xavier, 66-61. That was a close game, but a big win for Creighton, especially against a ranked Big East team.
Xavier's a good team, so that's a nice win for Creighton, honestly.
Creighton to slip out. And then Illinois, Penn State. I remember this game. I remember this game because Penn State was like kicking the snot out of Illinois early.
Yeah, it was early in the game. Penn State was up 16-2.
And then Illinois
lost 98-81.
And then Illinois came back and flipped the tables. So that was fun. All right. Moving on to the Christmas Day games, there were a couple fun ones. It looks like actually it's only really Big Ten, but
it's all Big Ten games. It's
Iowa,
only 4 games are all Big Ten.
Iowa getting upset by Minnesota, 95-102. That's a shocker, though.
All 4 of these games, honestly, were very fun to watch. I guess we'll just start with the one that you just mentioned,
Minnesota. That went to
overtime. Yep. I'm sorry, I kind of cut in there, but. 102-95 in overtime. Big win for the Gophers. This is a conference that literally, it doesn't matter what team you play. It's, I guess, me, Nebraska. You're going to find a harsh opponent every single week. And we'll go into more of the Big Ten games later in the season, as we go past Christmas Day, which got crazier yet. But, we'll get to that too. But, and they have actually a game on Christmas Day, so I'll talk about that too. But good game for Minnesota. Obviously a huge win over was a very, very good Iowa team. Obviously, I believe Iowa's only 2 losses still are this game and the Gonzaga one. They lost 99-88. So huge win for the Gophers. I'll just go through all 4 of these. It's not too much to go through. Purdue and Maryland was the only non-ranked game in this on Christmas Day, which was 73-70 Purdue. In the Big Ten, any kind of win counts. Doesn't matter what team it's against. You need the wins, and you need it as much as you can get because it's going to be so hard to get wins in the Big Ten. Obviously, for Michigan, it hasn't been hard at all, apparently. But, for the other teams, they need all the wins they can get. And so that's a big one, I think, for Purdue. Maryland's got a lot of talent, so is Purdue. And Purdue came out on top by 3, so nice win for them. Michigan State losing by 9 to Wisconsin. This was the game of the week, or game of the day for Christmas Day. And it was close throughout, and Wisconsin ended up coming on top by 9 in this game.
Pulled away at the end, yeah.
Yeah, at the end they pulled ahead and ended up getting a win. Big win, I think, for the Badgers. Once again, Michigan State, very good team, ends up losing to a very good team in the Big Ten. I mean, I think around this point, this is where the Big Ten had 9 teams in the top 25.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I said 9 teams in the top 25. That's how good the Big Ten was. But very good win there for Wisconsin, especially on the road. I mean, it's Breslin Center. There's no fans, but it's Breslin Center nonetheless. And Michigan with an 11-point win against Nebraska. I mean, I guess you could have won by more, but win's a win. It doesn't really matter, honestly, as long as you come out victorious. And, well, they did.
Exactly. And I know I keep getting told to give Luka Garza some more love. He is by far the Wooden Award winner. I don't think anybody's going to challenge him for that.
Yeah, no one's
32 points and 17 rebounds. What's he averaging? Let me see his averages. I need to see his averages.
27.6 points a game, 8.6 boards, an assist, and he's shooting 62% for the season.
That is going to be fun. Luka Garza versus Hunter Dickinson.
Oh. It happens. It'll happen. March time, it will happen. I
am so excited for Iowa to play Michigan. That is gonna be such a fun game. That's gonna be such a fun game. But we'll talk more about some of these Big Ten teams. Then obviously there wasn't really any big games for a couple days. Why is it hiding these from me? That's weird. Okay, anyway. There were a couple good games. I'm sorry, it was hiding them from me.
Saturday, 26th.
Back to Saturday the 26th. Gonzaga proving that they're really good. I mean, Virginia's not like amazing.
That was an insane game. I watched that entire thing. That was a slaughter. That was just absurd what Gonzaga did. We're talking about a Virginia team that has been very good defensively for ages. I mean, even last year, when COVID basically canceled the season, when their offense was terrible, their defense was still giving up maybe 60 points to every team. I mean, they were outstanding. They smothered every single team. No one scores on them. Gonzaga put up 98. 98 points on like one of the historically best defenses the college basketball really has ever seen. That is absurd.
It was insane.
They're
the best offense they're the best offense this year. No question. No question they're the best offensive team.
I mean, I guess Iowa would be a close second, but Gonzaga's been amazing.
I mean, Gonzaga beat them. Gonzaga outshot them.
Yeah, and that's Gonzaga's 4th ranked win of the season. They beat Virginia, they beat Kansas, they beat West Virginia, they beat Virginia. Virginia, West Virginia, Kansas, and Iowa. Oh, yeah, that's what I screwed up on. I missed Iowa.
And that's crazy.
Honestly, all of those teams could win their conferences.
That's the crazy thing. Everybody's sitting here saying, "Oh, Gonzaga doesn't play anybody." They played 4 really good teams, and they slaughtered BYU, which, sure, they're not a Power 5 team, but they're still a respectable basketball program. And
they beat San Diego State.
They're not only beating these teams, they're crushing most of them. This Gonzaga team is probably more likely than not the favorite to win the championship. Let's be real here. I am so upset we didn't get to see Gonzaga play Baylor. I'm so upset. That would have been the game of the year.
Hey, we're going to see Kansas Baylor soon, so get excited. That's going to be
That's Monday. Game. That's next Monday.
I mean, Kansas might have just lost to Oklahoma State, but that's still going to be a crap fun.
It's still Kansas, and right now I even have my Syracuse Orange on the screen right now, down by 3 against the Tar Heels. Fun game. No. Let's go to Houston UCF. Yeah, let's go Houston UCF. Houston and UCF was a close game for a while, but Houston held on at the end and pulled away to get the 63-54 win. So congrats on that.
I honestly know nothing about Houston. How are they number 6?
I don't know. They hadn't lost to that point.
Who did they beat to get to number 6?
Their only losses.
They beat Texas Tech.
And they beat They've beaten respectable teams, and their only loss to this date is to Tulsa.
Oh, okay. I mean, they have one win, I guess.
Number 18, and then we got number 18 Illinois at home taking care of business against Indiana. I mean, Indiana still looks good, but Ayo Dosunmu, if I said that properly, I probably didn't. Ayo Dosunmu. I can't. Is a beast, and obviously dropping 30 points in Illinois, getting the 69-60 win. So good win for Illinois. They're definitely one of the best Big Ten teams, but they have faltered a little bit earlier on than I thought.
Also, Ohio State getting upset by Northwestern by 1
point. By 1 point. That brought Northwestern into the rankings, but that was fun. That's fun.
Side note, Louisville and Kentucky, obviously a huge rivalry. Kentucky lost again, 62-59, end up losing by 3 points, 1-6. That is not good. Like, that is really bad. Is this Kentucky we're talking about? It's a blue blood. Like, they're really good almost like every single season. And that was like borderline miserable. They're bad. I mean, we'll talk about their winning streak now. That's been showing up later, but
nothing on the 27th.
Bad up until that point. We'll go into Sunday. Though.
Nothing on the 27th. Unless there's any non-top 20, unless there's any non-top 25. Yeah, I clicked it and you can see like UMBC beat Binghamton.
Yeah.
Monday the 28th, NAU becomes the next murder victim on the slaughter train of Gonzaga. I almost went to that school. I almost went to NAU. All their sports programs suck. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like the school either.
I'll just take over for these two Big Ten games, which were really fun to watch. Maryland pulling off the upset of Wisconsin. Big win for the Terrapins. I watched the end of that game. It was pretty awesome to see the Maryland guy completely postered basically entire Wisconsin team. That was absurd. Basically clinching them the win in Kohl Center. But obviously massive win for the Maryland Terrapins. I mean, they haven't had they are having a bit of an off year due to their to normal standards or normally in the top 25, but this is a really good team. Don't underestimate Maryland. They got talent. Michigan State, what happened? Minnesota 81-56. It wasn't even close. I watched this game and I mean Minnesota, they didn't even shoot. I mean, Michigan State was horrible shooting the basketball, and neither was really Minnesota. In that first half, I think Minnesota was shooting like 30%. It was not good. They could not shoot, and Michigan State was shooting something like 10. It was miserable, and Michigan State finished the game shooting 25%. 25%. Minnesota ended up finishing 47. So I guess they got a little better later through the game. I just stopped watching because it was so bad. I'm like, wow, Michigan State's about to get smoked. 81-56. Ugh,
pretty bad. It was funny though. It's funny though for us Michigan fans.
I loved watching that, but dang, Michigan State.
Moving on to Tuesday's slate. Look, it's another murder victim of Gonzaga. This time it's Dixie State losing 112-67.
Oh, jeez. I saw that.
Oh, it's bad. Okay, and then Central Arkansas just came into Baylor, and Baylor was like, all right, move out the way, 93-56. And then come down Tulsa, getting a 1-point upset win over number 5 Houston. Big upset win for Tulsa, especially if you're a Tulsa fan. You take anything you can get. A win against a number 5 team is good, even if it's only like a Houston.
Yeah, you need any win you can get if you're gonna make it to the tournament, and that's a big win for Tulsa.
100%. West Virginia beating Northeastern 73-51. Hey, I was just talking to my friend that goes to Northeastern. That's where I knew Northeastern. But they get beat down by West Virginia. And then Iowa handling Northwestern 87-72.
Big win there for Iowa, honestly. I mean, Wildcats were on a bit of a roll, and then they they made it close with Iowa throughout most of the game. I watched that entire thing. Northwestern was in it for almost the entire game until like the end, and Iowa just kind of blew it open, and it wasn't really close at that point.
Exactly.
Couple other games still on top here.
Texas Tech beat Incarnate Word 79-51.
Well, I was looking at Virginia Tech and Miami, 2-point game there, 80-78, close game. Nice job by Virginia Tech to pull it off late, but sad thing for Miami as well. They could use that win.
Virginia Tech looks good. Probably the best, one of the best ACC teams.
That's true. Yeah. Rutgers, a 5-point win over Purdue. I mean, Purdue making it close. You're gonna see that in the Big Ten almost every day. Expect that this
unless you're playing Michigan.
Loaded. Okay, yeah. But Rutgers, I mean, really good game there. Rutgers ended up pulling it out at home against Purdue. So good game for the Scarlet Knights, getting another win, getting back on the win column. Clemson beating Florida State in upset. Big win for the Tigers.
Another one of the best ACC teams.
But where they're at now because they're way higher than they were at this point. But big win for Clemson. They had been doing very well at that point. They had beaten who did they beat? They beat Maryland and Alabama. They got in the top 25, lost by just a few points to Virginia Tech, and then went ahead and just handled Florida State, which is a really good team. So nice win there for the Tigers, and I'll try to stop interrupting you, but
you're good. You're good. Moving on to Wednesday's slate of games. Baylor went up to Alcorn State and said, all right, we already just told the other team to move out the way, so can you move out the way too? 105-76, easy win. Missouri, after looking good and looking good, better and better and better and going up and up and up, then they met Tennessee, and Tennessee was like, all right, we're going to bring you guys back down to earth with a 20-point road victory for Tennessee. That's a big one. Win by 20 points on the road.
Tennessee, Missouri kind of ran into a buzzsaw. They had a big win against Illinois. They had a little bit of some hangover against Bradley in one of the worst shooting games they'll probably ever see. But they pulled it out by one. And now here they come into this game kind of, all over the place. And, they were all over the place in that game, too. I mean, their shooting, I think, in the first half was, completely miserable. I was watching that game, and I'm like, yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now we got two teams rebounding. Virginia rebounding after a terrible loss to Gonzaga by kicking down on the lowly Notre Dame, 66-57. Controlled that game for the most part. And then Ohio State rebounding from a 1-point loss to Northwestern by absolutely slaughtering Nebraska, 90-54.
Well, Nebraska's going to be basically the murder victim of every Big Ten team this season.
The punching bag, yeah. They're going to be the punching bag. Oh, let's go.
Yep.
Let's jump ball, baby. North Carolina.
It was Northwestern and Nebraska last year. It's just going to be Nebraska this year.
And now we go on to our New Year's Eve games. Wisconsin handling Minnesota 71-59. Just when Minnesota was on cloud 9 after that crushing blow to Michigan State, ends up getting dealt a crushing blow by their arch rival Wisconsin Badgers.
Yeah, big win for Wisconsin there.
And then number 16 Michigan taking care of business in a much closer game against Maryland than it should have been. Pulled away late and kind of held them against the field because they were making a bunch of threes in the first quarter or the first half.
I didn't really see much of this game. I just thought they pulled away late in the second quarter, midway through the second half, and just kind of blew it open and took over. But good game for Michigan. Road game against Maryland, which is, like I said, really good team. And I was at a New Year's Eve party. I saw literally none of it, but I was checking it on my Apple Watch. I just got this recently, but I was checking it on the watch, and I saw that they were just pulling ahead. Hunter Dickinson went off in this game. He had 26 points on 10 of 11 shooting.
He's
10 of 11.
He's bullied his way to the paint.
He also had 11 rebounds. He was unstoppable in that game, but very good performance from Michigan. And the only other ranked game, I think, was Oregon beating Cal. So who cares?
Yeah, congratulations, Oregon. Then we go to New Year's Day, had nothing.
Yeah.
Saturday the 2nd, we had Gonzaga kicking
A lot of stuff.
Gonzaga kicking the crap. Oh my
Oh,
word!
yes, here we go.
Holy
I
crap!
Texas put up one of the most historic performances against Kansas. They murdered them. Wasn't even close. Watched this game for a decent amount of time. Tied the record for the most lopsided loss that Kansas has ever had in Allen Fieldhouse.
That's crazy.
Texas was really stinking good in this game. It was a outstanding performance for Texas. I mean, they were absolutely raining the 3 ball. They were absolutely insane. Defense was unbelievable. Honestly, on that day, I thought Texas was I think Texas is one of the top teams in the country right now. They looked outstanding in that game. Dominated a Jayhawk team in their own arena, which Kansas, they don't ever lose that badly in their own arena. So, very impressive win for Texas. I think Shaka Smart is should be very much in discussion and probably could be the front runner for Coach of the Year. I guess Juwan Howard would be very close to that too.
Yeah, especially because Michigan is supposed to be mediocre.
It'll be a tug of war between those two, I think, for Coach of the Year. But very good win for Texas. Can't really say anything better. Honestly, just very well done, very good performance, and just keep up the great work. That was quite the spectacle.
Now we'll breeze through some of the rest of these games. Gonzaga beating down on San Francisco. Congratulations. Baylor was in a pretty tight game against Iowa State, but pulled away late. 76.
Pulled away anyway. Creighton Province was close, though.
Creighton Province was close, 67-65, but Creighton again slipping out with a win. Alabama.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was just kind of.
Yes. Alabama.
Because it's been it's already been 20 minutes, so I'm trying to kind of roll through these. Yeah, Alabama with the upset on the road against number 7 Tennessee. That's a big one.
They weren't the only upset too. This was a big day of upsets. There was another one earlier in the day. West Virginia upset by Oklahoma. Big win for the Sooners, honestly. And I think Oklahoma's got a good team. They always do. So I think that was a big win for the Sooners. Oklahoma State also pulling off an upset against Texas Tech. In overtime, 82-77. Yeah, there was a crap ton of upsets on January 2nd. It never ended, honestly.
Yeah, Nebraska was not one of them because they're Nebraska. Michigan State beating Nebraska 84-77.
That was a close game throughout, too. I mean, it looked like Nebraska might have had a shot, but, Michigan State is better.
It's Nebraska.
Iowa
and Rutgers was a really fun game, 77-75.
Yeah, I watched a whole lot of that game, and very close. Rutgers just a little bit short.
It's just because it's Luka Garza. It's Luka Garza. It's the Luka Garza show. He's the wooden winner. Just hand him the trophy. Missouri kicking down on Arkansas after good rebound after the loss to Tennessee. Illinois beating Purdue in a very close game as well. Purdue made it a game later, but Illinois held the lead for most of the game, and then Oregon.
Well, again, it's the Big Ten. Expect those close games, and basically every time.
And then Oregon destroyed Stanford 73-56. All right.
And that's finally it for that day.
Yeah.
And now we get to move on to the
start of Michigan
slaughter streak. That's what I'm calling this. I'm calling this a Michigan slaughter streak.
Against good teams, too.
Well, let's start with the first game, and that was Northwestern. We played them on Sunday. Northwestern was on a roll. They were looking really good.
They're so hot right now.
And, Michigan just demolished them. I mean, we were up at one point by almost 30. We were up by 29. It wasn't even close. We blew it open in the second half. And, yeah, very good performance from Michigan. which obviously started a historic streak actually in college basketball. We'll get on to that in a minute, but very good win for Michigan.
Minnesota blew out Michigan State, got beat down by Wisconsin, and how did they respond? Blowing out Ohio State 77-60.
Good performance from Minnesota. Very good rebound game, obviously. Ohio State, very good team. Very impressive win for Minnesota, which was setting up what looked like a marquee matchup against Michigan. Evidently, that would not be the case. We'll get to that game when it comes. But the other ranked game was Houston beating SMU by 14. Nice win for Houston. Moving on to Monday.
One game. Only one game for Monday. Hallelujah. And it was West Virginia.
And hey, it was close.
West Virginia pulling away from Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State had a 45-35 lead at halftime, but West Virginia dominated the second half to go ahead and pull away 87-84.
Nothing else really on that.
Oh, there's a lot of games. Actually, not that many games on Tuesday. Okay, Tuesday, number 4, Texas. Very, very close game against Iowa State. They let Iowa State sleep back in that near the end, but
I think Texas had a hangover from their just dominant performance against Kansas. I mean, when you have that good of a game, you're obviously going to be a little hyped up, a little excited, a little just, like I said, hangover. And so Iowa State tried to sneak into the game and take it, and, well, Texas ended up holding on. I'll just kind of flip through all of these and make it faster. Clemson beating NC State in overtime. Nice win for the Tigers. Very well done. Texas Tech beating Kansas State by 11.
Fair enough.
Win. I mean, whatever. It is what it is.
Rutgers, Michigan State was ugly.
I watched that game, and I wish I never did. That was like 2 hours of my life I'll never get back. One of the most miserable performances I've seen from both teams. I mean, it was so bad on both ends. Nobody could shoot. It was so miserable. I mean, Rutgers was horrible offensively. Horrible. And so was Michigan State. Rutgers for the entire game shot 30%.
I can still say
Michigan State got better, and they got to like 46. But I think in the first quarter, Michigan State was shooting like 20%, and Rutgers was shooting like 10. It was that bad.
I can still say that I've watched the entirety of the worst college basketball game of all time. I will never forget Virginia Tech NC State. That was absolute garbage. That game. I'm gonna look up the splits again because I know I talked about this. Continue going on. I'll just be the one to quickly mention Kansas rebounding after that embarrassing loss against Texas by taking it out on TCU 93-64.
Huge win there for Kansas. I mean, they had never lost twice in a row, I think, or something along those lines. But that was a big win for the Jayhawks, beating what really was a TCU team playing pretty well. So nicely done for the Jayhawks. As we go on to Wednesday, I'll just start with the next game in the Michigan slaughter streak.
Mm-hmm. Oh, real quick, before you start this, I found it. I forgot. Don't forget, this was more than midway through the season against 2 ranked opponents. Number 12, Virginia Tech beat number 23 NC State 47-24. Virginia Tech shot 16 for 45 from the field, and NC State shot 9 for 54.
Oh gosh.
16%, and they shot 7% from 3, going 2 for 28. So bad.
That's a football score.
I know. I know. It's like when you see like a football score that's like a basketball score. Oh God. Okay, start with the Michigan.
You see like 60. You see like you don't see like a football score out there. You see like 63-56.
Yeah. It's like Pitt Syracuse in 2016. I don't know if you remember that game. College football game.
Like 78-63.
76-61.
That's so stupid.
That's a basketball score in football. Stupid. It's just dumb. We can say one thing. Those defenses, garbage.
Yeah. True.
All right,
But
moving on to the
the
Michigan
next
slaughter
game
streak.
in the Michigan slaughter streak here. The next team that ran to the Michigan buzzsaw was Minnesota, number 16 in the country after that big rebound win against Ohio State. First half was actually kind of close. Michigan was kind of staying right with them. They were up by 6 at the end of the half. And then proceeded to go up by 37 in the second half.
Hunter Dickinson, 28 points. 28 points on 12 of 15 shooting.
With 8 boards.
That man's an
Guy's a
NBA.
man.
That man's an NBA player.
He's really good. He looks like an absolute all-star.
His form reminds me of Nikola Jokic. Like, just his form and stature reminds me of Jokic. And I saw him make a couple Jokic-like passes today. That's who I'm kind of looking at him as. He's a really good all-around big. He can just body you into the post.
Well, the unique thing about Hunter Dickinson is obviously, like you said, he's a gigantic center. So it's very hard to shut him down, period. But he's one of those old-school type centers. He's not the kind of guys he's not that stretch 5 that goes out and shoots the 3 ball. No, he dirties it out down low. He is grind it out, body you up, throw it down, lay it up. He is an aggressive player, and he's one of that old style basketball players, and
just back really into him.
Good.
He is. His form, like I said, just the way he is built reminds me a lot of Jokic. Like, I just look at him and I see, obviously he doesn't have the shooting touch of Jokic or the passing of Jokic, but he's still going to be a great player, and he's a great player right now.
But for the other games, you got Virginia Tech in a upset against Louisville. Nice win for Louisville, taking that one 73-71. Big win for the Cardinals. Really need that one. Tennessee, close win against Arkansas. I know you don't like Louisville, but Tennessee, big win against Arkansas, 79-74. Close game. Tennessee ends up pulling it off. Nice win though for Tennessee, pulling it off. Arkansas team that's really honestly pretty good.
I'll take the next couple. Fun game between Duke and Boston College, even though Duke does not look that great. I mean, Boston College is 2-8, and you're at Cameron, and Boston College is 2-8, and you win by 1. But either way, a thriller. Duke coming out with the close game. Virginia Tech pulling away from Wake Forest, 70-61. Obviously had a much better second half because Wake Forest was leading at the half. And then I'll go Houston beating Wichita State 70-63. And then if you want to finish up with those last two,
that Baylor and Creighton.
Yeah.
All right. Baylor getting a nice win against Oklahoma. Oklahoma was sort of in it. Well, not really. They tried to compete, but Baylor pretty much just dominated them throughout. It was really just a Baylor coasted to a win. Won that one pretty handily, 76-61, winning by 15. And Creighton just slaughtering Seton Hall, 89-53. Wasn't even close. As for Thursday, Oregon gained upset by Colorado, 79-72. Big win for the Colorado Buffaloes. Another upset loss for the Oregon Ducks. And then you got 2 Big Ten games here. Iowa pretty much handling Maryland on the road, dominating them 89-67. Nice win once again for Iowa. You're in the Big Ten, and
3
you
Big
win.
Ten games.
Oh, I guess I never scrolled down. Yeah, that game. Forgot about that. All right, I'll talk about that. But, good game, though, for Iowa. Really, any game that you win in the Big Ten basically is going to be a marquee win for you. Wisconsin, a very close game against Indiana. Went to double overtime, but the Hoosiers couldn't pull it off. Wisconsin prevails in the Kohl Center 80-73. Very close contest. Indiana so close to getting that win that they really desperately need in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
Just couldn't get it against the top team.
Yep, and then I'll take the last two.
Nice effort from the Hoosiers, though.
Perfect. Then I'll take the last two. Illinois absolutely destroying their in-state rival Northwestern, 81-56 in Northwestern's house.
The weird thing about this one, Northwestern was dominating them. It was 43-28 at halftime. It ended 81-56. Northwestern.
I just noticed that. Wait a minute.
Second quarter. 13 points in the second quarter.
Half.
Or I keep saying quarter.
I do too.
Half.
53 to, oh my god.
53-13 in the second half.
That makes it worse. Northwestern, what the heck?
Northwestern was dominating Illinois. And Illinois completely just destroyed them.
There's halftime adjustments, and then there's halftime de-adjustments. I think Northwestern de-adjusted. And then Gonzaga, 52 points. Gonzaga, 52 points in the first half, destroying BYU. Whoop-de-doo, what a surprise. All right, really the only big game of Friday. Purdue going on the road to East Lansing and upsetting the Michigan State Spartans.
Michigan State had a pretty good lead in this one, actually. At halftime, it was 31-16. They were winning pretty big, honestly, and Purdue just stayed in it. They kept chipping away at the lead over and over and over again. I love Travion Williams for Purdue. That is a really good player. I remember when he played against Michigan, and the dude went off for, I think, like 36 points or something like that. I mean, the guy just had an unbelievable game, but he's a good player, and he once again had one of those nights where it looked like no one could stop him. And the end of that game was pretty crazy, but Michigan State falling by one, Purdue getting a very big win on the road against a ranked Michigan State team. Ends up being Michigan State's fourth loss of the season, and as of right now, still unranked.
Yeah, and wouldn't you imagine Saturday's games start with Gonzaga blowing out their opponent and Baylor blowing out their opponent? What's new?
Well, it doesn't start like that for me, but
that's how it starts for me. It starts for me as Gonzaga blowing out their opponent, and I think mine goes from. Yeah, it looks like mine goes from highest rank.
Go from the highest rank down. Yeah,
and
mine does show.
Texas, West Virginia.
So I'm go ahead. You had there it is.
Texas, West Virginia, 72-70. Andrew Jones, one of the men who beat cancer, drilling a game winner for Texas. That's a feel good story.
Yeah.
And a great win for Texas.
That's just a cool game. That's just a cool story, honestly. I mean, you beat cancer, and then you end up making the shot that gets your team a win against a really good team, the marquee match.
On the road, too.
Yeah, that too. But West Virginia really... Shut up. I think I somehow activated Siri. But good win for West Virginia, or Texas against West Virginia. Both of these teams very good, and Texas gained another marquee win. Mm-hmm. And Ohio State beat Rutgers a second time. They swept them. And this time it was in close again. It was 79-68 this time. They only scored 1 point less.
Exactly.
But another night's win for Ohio State against, once again, Rutgers. I mean, it is what it is. Duke also winning 79-68. Their victim was Wake Forest.
That's Wake Forest.
Beating St. John's 97-79.
It's St. John's.
It really is not. Virginia winning by 12 against Boston College. Yeah, whatever. Tennessee beating A&M 68-54.
Whatever. Houston beating Tulane 71-50. Whatever. I guess Texas Tech beating Iowa State 91-64.
Oh, here's
whatever.
Oklahoma, Kansas. This one ended up being really close. Sooners could not pull it off, but they made it close. 63-59 was the final of this game. The Jayhawks ended up winning it by 4, but Oklahoma made it close. Like I said, Oklahoma's a good team. You got to watch out for them in every game they play.
And then Oregon.
Nice performance for Oklahoma, but just a tad short.
And then Oregon in a nice comeback win against Utah. Very close one.
That happened too, right?
Yeah, and then we're almost there. We're almost there. We got 3 more days.
Getting close.
Whew, this is a long episode. All right. Iowa taking care of business against Minnesota, continuing Minnesota's trend of either blowing the team out or getting blown out.
Yeah, I mean, Minnesota, if you remember, we said earlier that they had upset Iowa in overtime at home 102-95. So this was Iowa's basically revenge game. The only other ones were, there was a big, I want to talk about that one, but Virginia Tech beating Notre Dame 77-63. Maryland beats Illinois in yet another big upset for the Terrapins, 66-63 on the road once again. This is the Big Ten. There's going to be multiple upsets throughout the entire year. Everyone's just going to be beating each other up basically the entire season, except for us, apparently, because we just are like untouchable or something. But very good win for the Maryland Terrapins. I think they're like 7-6 now, which is a really weird record considering they have beaten both Wisconsin and Illinois now. Mm-hmm. So Maryland's a up and down team. They're very streaky. We'll see which Maryland team shows up for basically every game. And now on to yesterday. We're almost there.
UConn beats DePaul 60-53. Cool. Okay, moving on to today. Today.
Oh yeah, that's the only game.
All right. So I guess let's start with it. Michigan absolutely slaughtering number 9 Wisconsin. It was close. It was close for a little bit, and then Michigan just pulled away. At one point,
it was a 40-point game. It was 69-29.
At one point, it was 69-29. I have it right here, 69-29, and it was at that point a 43-6 run by Michigan.
Yeah.
Needless to say, Michigan completely kicked the snot out of Wisconsin.
Yeah, that was a very. I really just can't even understand what I saw in that game. I mean, I'm just gonna call this the slaughter streak now for Michigan because they beat 3 ranked teams by 19 or more points, and that is the first time in college basketball history that has ever happened. So we just made history, but to be beating a top 10 team by 40?
I mean, we didn't beat them by 40, but we kind of didn't care at the end.
Beating them by 40.
We didn't. I was about to say after we hit 40, we're just kind of like.
We still won by 23.
When we were winning by 40, we're just like, we're just gonna take our foot off the gas for a little bit here.
But very, very good performance for Michigan. Their next game happens to be against Minnesota, who was one of the victims of the slaughter streak.
This time on the road, though.
We'll see if Minnesota becomes a second team to be involved in it. But
and Virginia, then moving on to the next game, Virginia Tech was absolutely slaughtering Duke for the most part. Duke made it a game near the end, but Virginia Tech just kind of kicked the snot out of Duke.
They ended up pulling it off late. Big game, though, for Virginia Tech. Like you said, they're starting to look like one of the better teams in the ACC. They played Virginia at some point. I can't remember. Oh, it got postponed. Never mind.
And unfortunately, West Virginia and Baylor got postponed. That would have been a fun game to watch. And the last game we're going to talk about, Oklahoma State upsetting Kansas 75-70. That was a
big
fun
win
game
for the Cowboys. I guess they're not going anywhere. They can't make it to the postseason. The only thing they can really do is win the Big 12 championship and maybe win the tournament. They won't get to the postseason because of NCAA sanctions, but And neither will Auburn. I know Auburn isn't making
Arizona.
it.
Neither Arizona.
Arizona's out too, yeah. Those, I think, are the only 3 teams. I don't know. Is there another one? I forget.
Think so.
I think those are the only 3 I know of.
I
But,
didn't know. I didn't know Oklahoma State couldn't make it.
Yeah, I don't think. I'm pretty sure the Sooners are out of contention this year.
The Sooners.
I thought it was Oklahoma State.
Let me check. Do they have a ban?
I don't think it's. I'm pretty sure Oklahoma's in contention. It's just.
I think Oklahoma. It looks like Oklahoma State. Yeah, can't go. Over bribery scandal. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. All right, so, good win for Oklahoma State. But like I said, they can't really go to the postseason. For Kansas, I mean, Oklahoma State's a good team, so don't feel too down about it. I mean, I guess maybe they're looking forward to that big game later when they play Baylor on Monday. That is going to be so much fun. But big win for Oklahoma State. Tomorrow, though, should be another fun game. Texas and Texas Tech will be facing off against each other. Mm-hmm. Another big marquee matchup in the Big 12. Here's something about these two conferences. You got the Big 12 and the Big 10. Big 10 is known for quantity. The entire conference is deep. There's multiple teams, all that can play. And there's a couple teams on top like Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa, which are the top few and have really good players. And then there's the rest of the conference that does is really good. Big 12 has quality. Kansas, Baylor, Texas, Texas Tech, and West Virginia all in the top 15. They don't have another single ranked team. Those are their only 5, but they're all in the top 15.
They're all really good.
That is really thinking good.
Exactly. But yeah, that's going to be it for the college basketball episode. That was a long episode. Definitely going to shake it up. Will definitely be a little bit easier from here on out. But thank you all so much for watching. And again, I hope you all have a great rest of your day.
We won't have to cover like 104 weeks.
Exactly. So. All right. We will see you all next time. Peace out.